2008 Land Rover LR2. Going to install this backup camera. So what I did was I took apart the left tail light, driver's side. Let me show you on the right though. It's just these two Phillips head screws, and then you pull outboard and you'll have these two tabs to pull out. Just pull it towards the rear. The black cap came off on my other one here, but they are the same. So what I've done is I've taken this panel off. It's just 3 push pins holding it in place really. Right, so 1, 2, 3, and you pull from the bottom outward and they'll come out. I'm going to mount the camera there, facing this way. Right, so when the lift gate shuts, it's facing the rear. I'm going to run the short section of the cable to the connector to about here. And I pop this guy off, and this doesn't feed directly through into the headliner right here, and I'm not going to drop the headliner. So what I'm going to do instead of coming through here and running it up towards the front of the vehicle is I'm going to run it into here, out through the trim, and then down behind the hinge, tuck it underneath here, and hook up to this one right here, the gray wire, because that is the backup light. So when you're in reverse, this is powered and it'll force the camera to switch on. I looked for a grommet for this. I didn't have one floating around, so I'm just going to use some wire loom. That's amongst the many things I have here. A bunch of trim tools, universal wiring tool, electrical tape, some Tessa tape, or it's a foam tape if you're not familiar with the Tessa tape. Pretty high quality stuff. And some foam padding. I have a bunch more. I think I'll just need one little piece though. This is what I'll use to wire into here. The way that I'm going to route my wiring is similar to how this ground strap is. And since the OEM was able to run a ground strap through here, I'll do something similar with my wiring. I'll just keep it within a loom. And instead of coming up through here, I'll see if I can tuck in somewhere and then come up through the trim. I just pulled a grommet out of here. I think what I'm going to do is punch a hole through it and then fish the camera side on through, and it does connect, and connect through here and then push them up into there, and I'll wrap it with some foam tape or some Tessa tape to avoid vibrations and sounds. Alright, just showing how I wired this before I go and tape it up. And just again, it's going off the gray wire on the outboard most light that's white. That is the backup lamp. So I checked this against ground, and the first one, when I put it in reverse, did not have 12 volts. So I had to go down in that size, which is the blue cap. Now I have 12 volts. So what I did was I ran a wire loom through the hole. Now I don't worry about the sharp edge or any burrs cutting the wire. Basically pinched it here, and then it's the bare wire tucked in behind here. And I've gotten it as far as there. So I'll do the same thing with the wire loom. Run it up on over, and then go through where I'll punch that hole in that grommet. So I've got that wire hidden now, and the loom's popping out of there. Let's run it up and behind here. I'll secure this somehow, maybe zip tie or something here, up to the connector. And then what I've done is I've punched a hole in this. You can't really see it, but I'm going to pass that through. Alright, so this was passed through the grommet. It actually works out really well because the wire loom fits right in there. So this will go up into here, and then I put some Tessa tape on about 6 or 8 inches worth of this cable, I am going to run it here and then tuck it around the trim. Coming through here, I put some foam tape on this spot, but the Tessa tape should be more than enough to protect it. I'll come over, I'll drop through this hole, and then I'll meet up with the wire for the grommet, coming through the grommet. So here it is fished through, coming through the top, out the hole. I'll push this up. This isn't a sharp edge, but I'm either gonna put tape around the wire, or I'll put some foam tape there as well. I'm also going to tape these two together because I'm not coming back to try to reconnect them if they come loose. So I zip tied the loom here so it can articulate and not move too much. And then I put a zip tie here so I can pull out this cord that runs to the front. I put Tessa tape on this edge and this edge here, and then I routed the camera through here so that it can sit like this. The cord is going to loop through this part here where I have this foam tape. So the panel's back in place. Again, push it from down and then forward on the top. 3 pins, one in the middle, one on each end. I'm going to secure the camera something like this. I have to get this cable out of the way, or I can still push it in and out a little bit. And I'll set it up with double-sided tape first, and then I'll aim and adjust it, and then I'll just drill 2 holes with the screws. All right, I have to clean this up still, but I'm going to come down through here. I put 2 layers of Tessa tape here, and I put some Tessa tape around the cable as well, because it's going to do a sharp, like 180-degree bend there. So running down through here, there's a bit of a jog here. What I'm going to do is hit this with the heat gun, but not right now. Run it down through, and I am going to ride this and just keep tucking it all the way to the front. So I came down through here and started running it across the top. There's nothing behind the headliner here to hold it in place. So you got to come down the D-pillar, route it this way, and then we'll tuck it in here, come up the window, and then all the way across the front. All right, so cable was run along the bottom of that window in the back there, came across to the C-pillar, came up the seal all the way across through here, across the top, around here. This is difficult to manipulate. And then I ran it tucked up in here all the way across until it comes out here. And it comes down. I wrapped the extra length once or twice around here. And now I'm ready to set up the camera. I did end up using quite a few of these trim tools to help push the cable along. I did also use a piece or 2 of foam tape up near the headliner in the black area here where you can't see, because the wire wants to kind of jump out in maybe 2 or 3 spots. All right, here's the new mirror with the 2 rubber pieces strapped onto the hooks. I'm just going to overlay it here and make that connection and then hook up on the bottom. So everything's hooked up. I'm not going to add it to the video, but I'm basically going to take, for now, the power wire. I'm going to tuck it in, probably come down this side, and set it up right around here. Let me just show what happens when you go in a reverse. And again, the rear camera's not set up. I got to adjust it and stuff. But it switched over. That's why we hooked it up to the backup lamp. And it switches back when I go back in a park. So that's the end of this. I will do another video at some point where I actually hardwire this thing into the fuse box, probably up here in the front there with the ignition. But for now, I'm just going to drive around for a few days like this.